Hello and welcome back. My name is Promise. And so today we are going to be looking at a topic of interest, which is the call and the strategy. I've heard a lot of things concerning the call, and a lot of persons don't have the right understanding about what the call is. Today we're going to be doing a crash course on this. Within a short period of time, we're going to look at a whole lot of things. And we are trusting that God will grant us the understanding. Now, let's look at, first of all, an overview of the call of God. Now, what is the call of God? Let's look at what the call of God is and what it is not. Now, first of all, the call of God is God's demand or request of your attention to Himself. Okay, it is God demanding and requesting your attention to Himself in order to carry out a particular purpose. It is not self-desire. It is not self-ambition. It is not self-passion. A lot of people are driven by self-passion for God and they venture into doing a lot of things. But the call of God is the demand and the request of your attention to God in order to carry out something. That is the difference. And the call of God is purpose-oriented. It is a mandate. It is purpose-oriented. God calls you for a purpose. No caller makes a call if he does not have anything to say. So it is not title-oriented or a position. People assume position without purpose, and that is a failure in the sight of God. Titles are not a sign that a person is called. And so a person can occupy a position yet does not know the calling of God for his life and just fulfill normal religious activities. And so the call of God is purpose-oriented. There is always something that is attached to it, and you know that this is what God called me for. The call of God is God-dependent. It is not self-decided or self-concluded. It is God-dependent. And so since you are called by God, you don't get to decide how to go about to do the things that you are called to do. You have to get the blueprint and the instructions from the caller in order to truly succeed in it. And so nobody that has fulfilled the call of God his own way actually achieves success in it. And now let's quickly look at the misconceptions about the call of God. So one of the greatest misconceptions about the call of God is this: when God calls a man into ministry, it means that he or she is called to start a church or begin to preach from the pulpit. This is a great controversy in the minds of people, and this is exactly why a lot of people, it looks as if they are running away from the call of God. Because when you hear God have called this person, the next thing that comes to mind is that God wants this person to start a church, or God wants this person to leave everything he or she is doing, leave your business, and then begin to do ministry, begin to move from street to street preaching and all of that, become a pastor. And this is the mindset of a lot of persons. But it is actually very, very incorrect. There are those that are called by God and sent specifically into the education sector. There are those that are called and sent specifically into the political sector, into the business sector. And that is where strategy comes in. Now, is every believer called? Yes, every Christian is called to be a missionary. Now, there are two types of call. We have the general call and the specific call. The general call is for every believer to go into the world and preach the gospel, which is missions. But the mission field of each man differs, and that is where specification comes in. So we are all called to go into the world. We have been sent into the world to carry out something which the caller wants us to carry out. But the mission field and the strategy to carry out these things is what differs. For instance, God can call 3 persons and give them the assignment of bringing healing to the lives of people. Now, for one of them, the medium of carrying out his assignment may be through the music ministry. And when the person ministers, people get healed. Now, for the second person, it may be through maybe establishing a health center. And so that person has to be in the medical field in order to save lives. And then for someone else, it may be through the teaching ministry. And as you begin to teach, people are healed. And so you see the difference in strategies, even though we have a similar call. So your strategy is the particular system God wants to use, or God wants you to use in order to carry out his assignment. It brings specification to the calling. So do not limit the call of God to the pulpit or church. God can use you to establish a foundation to help people. God can use you to establish a health center to cater for the poor and the sick. God can use you to establish a business enterprise in order to help the unemployed and lead them to Christ. I can't forget 2 interviews I went for many years ago. It's 7 to 8 years ago. And I was asked if I was born again. I can't forget that. And so someone may be asking, can I fulfill my calling through my profession? Or if I'm called on God, do I have to let go my profession in order to focus on doing this and all of that? The answer to that question is yes. You can fulfill your calling through your profession. You can be a doctor, you can be a teacher, you can be a lawyer, and fulfill the call of God through that profession. But it must be by God's specification and by God's will, not by personal ambition or decision. And so we must get to understand the call. First of all, what is the call all about? What is the call of God for me, for you? What did God call you for? And then after that, you come to the point of understanding the strategy. Now, God has called me. How am I supposed to carry it out? What is the pattern? What is the system? What is the methodology that God wants me to use and carry out this call in order to be effective? By the time you answer these questions, you'll be able to gain a proper definition of the call of God upon your life and the strategy to carry it out. And so I'm going to be stopping here. Feel free to share your opinions as well, comments, and subscribe. You can also look up my teaching on the 7 mountains of life so you can get better understanding about this. God bless you.